Guys, one of our students just installed the most beautiful, affordable kitchen in her home, avoiding a whole host of kitchen design mistakes. So if you're planning a kitchen remodel soon, these are the mistakes to avoid that'll be expensive to fix or could massively jeopardise your design. I've said this before, kitchens are expensive and technical spaces to get right. You need to get the flow right so you aren't darting all around the room trying to do basic tasks. You need to maximise your storage, use the right materials that will stand the test of time, and it all needs to look great, add value to your home and your life. And keep watching until the end of this video because I really want to show you some annoying lighting mistakes that are just like... Okay, I have to start with this kitchen design mistake first because it can creep up on you in the early stages when you're planning your kitchen layout, and it can actually cause the whole kitchen design to look and feel really off. It's when there's no focal point and the kitchen just feels like this stack of units and no real sense of identity. You get so focused on where to position your sink, your cooker and the fridge, which, don't get me wrong, is equally as important, but you don't put equal thought into your sight lines and your focal points. Sight lines are what you see when you walk around your home, and kitchen sight lines can feel really boring or quite overcrowded if they aren't considered. So yeah, getting a good focal point in your kitchen planning doesn't take long to figure out, but it will make a really big impact on the final result of your design. Good examples are creating your cooker as a feature or making your sink and the area around it really, really wow. Another expensive and frustrating kitchen design mistake is not planning your cooker extraction alongside your design. Because seriously guys, extractor fans are one of the hardest elements to work into your kitchen plans, even when you do consider them early in your planning. You've got to know where your ducting will go, how it will be disguised, or whether you're actually going to go for ductless recirculating methods. And all of these decisions take up space in your kitchen, which affects the cabinets that you can fit. Extractors are often such a big visual part of your kitchen too, and they shouldn't be retrofitted later. So make your extraction method one of the first decisions that you make, determine how it will sit within your overall kitchen design, and you'll prevent a lot of headaches and last minute changes later. Now, I shamefully made this kitchen mistake 10 years ago, and I had no idea what I was doing, and it's just cheapened the look of our kitchen ever since. I chose a plastic tile trim to finish the backsplash behind our cooker, and it was one of those on-the-job, really rushed choices. Honestly, worst idea ever. I mean, it looked okay for about 3 months, but then it started melting every time our wok knocked against it. Ever since I learned that, I always specify metal tile trims in the colour that we need. It's far more forgiving and doesn't scratch either. But yeah, it's these little details that you plan now that will help your kitchen age so well over the years, so don't rush them. Then there's the big kitchen worktop design mistake, which has left so many people gutted after their worktops have been fitted. And actually, this is going to help you with all your kitchen finishes. It's only seeing a tiny sample before placing the order. Take this one example I found online where this person fell in love with this small worktop sample when it arrived in the post. But when the worktop itself arrived and was fitted, she suddenly noticed the glaring, larger grey veining that wasn't actually visible in the smaller sample that they posted to her. That tiny sample only showed her a small section of the overall worktop pattern. And it really sucks when this happens to people, and it's one of those things that really annoys me when companies send out untrue samples. They should at least send multiple samples if someone's ordering a worktop with strong variation like this one. So the only real thing that you and I can do is ask for larger or several samples to see those variations at play. Or better, ask for photos of the worktop fitted in a real kitchen, or actually visit the supplier and buy the exact slab that you like, so you know exactly what you're getting. And the same goes for every other surface that you're ordering, from your kitchen floors to your cabinets. Often the biggest compromises happen during the installation when something has arrived and it looks different to what you expected, but it's installed now, so you just go with it and live with it. We want to avoid all of that as much as we can early on. We need to talk about your cabinet finishes next, because you need to avoid choosing the wrong cabinet finish, especially if you're a bit OCD like me. Wrong finishes just make your life so much harder. Basically, fingerprints on cabinets are either something you never have to contemplate in your life, which is good design, or they become the bane of your life, which is bad design. And certain kitchen cabinets are actually much more prone to showing fingerprints and greasy marks than others. Let's take gloss cabinets first. They look great, they're high shine, and they're easy to spray and wipe down. But when they haven't been cleaned for a while, light hits the surface and can show every single fingerprint and smear. Handleless designs are particularly prone to fingerprint marks, whereas handles tend to isolate the fingerprints to one area. Then there's the super matte cabinets. Now usually matte finishes are fingerprint friendly, but when they're super matte surfaces in a dark colourway, they actually have the opposite effect. Black, navy or darker unit colours are that bit more prone to showing fingerprints and greasy marks, especially on handleless kitchen designs. If you aren't fussed about fingerprints, I really wish I was you, but if you're like me and you're a bit OCD, look at cabinet finishes like eggshell or very low sheen, the ones that look matte from a distance and close up they are a very low sheen. Or go for a slightly textured surface like wood effect, or go for handles instead of handleless to reduce the fingerprints and get them concentrated in one area. I just want to give you a heads up about the kitchen design pack I've made available for you to take all the decisions out of your project and have an interior designer choose for you, but for a fraction of the cost and no waiting around for the designs. The design pack contains a full design for your kitchen, including affordable cabinets, the worktops I recommend, colour schemes, flooring options, tiles, sinks, taps, bar stools, everything. All of my design notes are written there for you, telling you exactly how to apply everything, which products to purchase, which sizes to purchase, saving you a ton of time. So click the link in the description to remove all of your kitchen renovation decisions and get your hands on a design pack today. And on the topic of mistakes that make your life harder, the next mistake to avoid is black taps and sinks. They can actually hold watermarks, especially if you live in a hard water area. And instead look at gunmetal taps. They give the same modern look and feel as black taps, but you'll have a finish that's a bit easier to keep clean. This next kitchen design mistake is another one I made in the early days when I didn't have a clue about design and had to live with my choices for years after. It's designing spaces with no dark contrast. When I learned this, suddenly my design started to look so much more considered. So let's say you're planning a light coloured cabinet, a light coloured worktop, and a light colour on the walls. Well, a predominantly neutral kitchen like this can look safe and a little bit cookie cutter, but if you introduce some darker contrasting elements like dark handles, darker flooring, darker contrasting window dressing, you deepen the scheme and add visual interest around the kitchen. So if you love neutral spaces like I do, give it a try and see how it lifts your space. This is the difference between a newbie and someone trained. The newbie might get the job completed fine, but those in the know will plan ahead so that the results look a little bit more professionally curated. In fact, on that note, I need to change the frames behind me to black. It's been on my list for ages. I promised you kitchen lighting advice, which is coming up, but first, if this video is helping you prevent kitchen design mistakes, give it a like and subscribe. I've got lots of other videos to help you with cardboard advice, where to spend and save on your finishes, and layout mistakes. The next kitchen design mistake is assuming independent kitchen fitters are far too expensive. And although this one depends on your budget, my clients have often been surprised by it. They thought that they had to buy their kitchen from affordable, well-known nationwide companies. But actually, when we get a quote from our independent kitchen fitters, a bespoke kitchen isn't as prohibitively expensive as they thought. Okay, having a bespoke kitchen built for you is always going to be a level above high street suppliers, but when you think about the design freedom that you gain, you're not stuck with standard cabinet measurements, plus the strength of the materials that are used, bespoke kitchens can actually be more affordable in terms of longevity and bang for buck. And by the way, if you're based in Southeast UK, I can put you in touch with our team to design and build your bespoke kitchen for you for a very fair price. I've left links below this video if you're interested. Lighting. So one of the most overlooked elements of kitchen designs is this next mistake, not correctly lighting your space. Let's say that you're looking at a 2D floor plan trying to decide where to place lights and switches in your kitchen, and you're starting by placing down lights in the ceiling, positioning them all over the zones that you know you need to light up. Well, you've got to be cautious about any areas that you're not lighting with spotlights too. It can create a really unevenly lit space. And when you're placing downlights on your floor plan, think about where that beam of light will be cast and whether it could be blocked by tall cupboards or beams, which will give you some really annoying illuminations that you have to fix. Kitchens are so hard to plan, so if you're feeling alone and overwhelmed, I've been there, and I've been on the brink of tears at least once, and it's why I feel so passionate about helping you avoid that same pain. So definitely check out the links in the description below for ways to speed up your project, prevent mistakes, and confidently select your design and finishes. I've left links to our online renovation course and community, as well as my kitchen design pack below, so take a look there if you need some more support. We've spoken a lot about the kitchen design mistakes you need to avoid, but actually the most costly issues you can run into in your kitchen is with your layout. Watch this next video about kitchen layout mistakes and I'll show you what else you really need to avoid. And let me know in the comments below if you're going to try any of these tips that I've mentioned. I'd love to hear from you, and I love supporting you where I can. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!